Hello, Maddie here. Welcome back to another week, another book, and just more ramblings by a girl who loves to read and loves to talk about books. This week we're talking about The Reluctant Heiress by Eva Ibbotson. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but that is how I've said it. I think it's fun to say Ibbotson, so that is how we say it. Eva Ibbotson is an author we really like. I've read a handful of her books. She does have some books that I haven't read. She has a book that I haven't read because I know it's going to be difficult, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. I've been told that it has a Maddie guaranteed ending, so I need to read it. That's not important. For those of you that have watched at least my last video, we totally skipped this part, but we're trying to be reading the synopsis of all the books so that I can go off on tangents of these books and not have to summarize the book for you. So, The Reluctant Heiress by Eva Ibbotson, a star-crossed romance is like the title at the top. Being the heiress in 1920s Austria with nothing but a broken-down castle to your name and nary a penny in your purse could be frustrating for anyone but the Princess Teresa Maria of Pfaffenstein. Tessa, however, is thrilled with her situation, as it allows her to concentrate on her love of the arts, and no one in the Viennese opera company would know that their delightful and charming under-wardrobe mistress is really a princess. But when the dashing, self-made millionaire Guy Fern arrives at the opera in search of a suitable entertainment for his high society guests, Tessa realizes that there may be more to life and love than just music. And while the attraction between them is undeniable, Guy's insufferable snob of a fiancé only solidifies Tessa's determination to keep her true identity a secret. Yet after a chance meeting with the handsome Englishman, Tessa's reserve begins to melt, and she starts to wonder if it's too late for a fairy tale ending. So that's what we're working with. Eva Ibbotson, I've done another video on another book of hers called The Countess Below Stairs, which is easily her best book, which is why I don't recommend you read it first, because then all of her books don't look as good, because A Countess Below Stairs is her best book. So I recommend you read this one first. This book is a lot harder. This book, like another video I've had called Blackmoore, this book is 95% angst, 5% happiness. All 5% coming at the very, 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 very end. I read most of this book in one sitting and was like so depressed. I was like, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. Like all of the worst of life circumstances are happening to this poor girl, and she is just having to take it all on the chin and just like handle it. And she's not super old. All the worst things that can happen to a person are happening to this singular individual, and you're like, I am so sorry. And it's just so rough. And you're just like, dude, she deserves happiness. It's why it's worth it to get through it, to get to the happiness. So this is kind of, okay, I don't know about y'all, but every once in a while, I'm like, I just need to cry, but I need it to like kind of be okay. Cry with a happy ending, basically. So not just like, oh, let's just be sad, but it's like, no, I need sad with like just a sprinkling of happy so that we don't end and like are super depressed. This book kind of like hits that note for me because yes, it is. She just goes through all the worst things, but it's got a great cast of characters, got a great female lead, a great male lead, with the exception of his name literally being Guy, which I think is so dumb. It's a great cast of characters. It's a very interesting story. It's very fascinating because it goes kind of into the nuances. Okay, so it's The Reluctant Heiress, and living in 21st century America, I don't know pretty much anything about lineage of these English families and like how things are passed down and titles are passed down and money is passed down and land is passed down and familial homes and all that. That's just not a thing that we see or experience in our daily lives in the modern world in general, but I would say especially in places like America where that's just not a thing that ever, except for those, crazy families like I think like Rockefellers and stuff, Kennedys, things like that. Besides those handful of families, most of us don't have ancestral homes or these like crazy lineages. Most of us aren't heirs and heiresses. So it's very interesting and fascinating, that kind of piece of it and how things kind of get passed down, how things are handled, and especially the burden that can come along with that, because it can be very difficult and confusing and hard to navigate. I have no idea if this in any way, shape, or form makes you even want to read this book, but I hope you'll want to pick it up. I know we've got lots of rambling, but I still hope you'll be interested in this book because, like I said, Eva Ibbotson is a very, very good author. The books I've read of hers are A Countess Below Stairs, The Reluctant Heiress, and A Company of Swans. Company of Swans was definitely my least favorite of those books. It was like 85% good and like had sprinkling throughout it the 15% bad of just like circumstances I didn't really like, choices that I was like not necessarily choices of the character, but choices of the author of things to include or add that I was like, this kind of messes with your story a little bit. And like, I'm not a big fan of that. I haven't read A Song for Summer or The Morning Gift. I think A Song for Summer is the one that I want to read that my sister is like, you just kind of got to be mentally prepared for it. It's my oldest sister, sibling number 2. If you've watched some of my older videos or read some of my older blogs, I am the 5th of 7 children. And to keep my siblings in order for y'all, so you don't have to memorize a lot of names. I also don't want to include names if my siblings aren't comfortable with that. But sibling number 2, my oldest sister, has read that book, and it has a Maddie guaranteed ending. It ends happy, but it's a difficult story to get through. Anyways, A Reluctant Heiress is difficult, but it definitely has the payoff. And while I've said it was, 95% depressing, it's got an excellent payoff. The difficultness of the characters and the storyline and the circumstances to get you to the ending are part of what make it so beautiful and so worth it. Because rarely is life as easy and cute and simple as a lot of the books that I recommend. I like to recommend super light reads. I like to recommend super emotionally safe reads. And while I would in general say this is emotionally safe read because it kind of all ends okay and all is worth going through, it doesn't like scar you so terribly that you get to the end and you're like, this ending's not worth it because I now have all these terrible things that I've experienced because of this book. No, it's difficult things, but they are all very much worth it, and they add to, like I said, they add to the ending, and they make that happy ending just so much sweeter because of just how much, especially Tessa, has to experience and go through to get there. So totally recommend A Reluctant Heiress. If you've watched my past videos and already read A Countess Below Stairs, well, read this book anyways. It's still good. If you haven't read A Countess Below Stairs, read this book first and then read A Countess Below Stairs, because Countess Below Stairs is easily one of my top favorite books of all time. Maybe that'll one day change, but for now, it's been in my top favorite books since I read it in college. You should pick up this book. You should pick up that book. Pick up her books. They're good books. She's a good author. We're a big fan of her in this household and with my sisters. That's something I really appreciate, is having sisters that have very similar tastes as me. And so we kind of just swap books. And there's definitely been books that I've picked up and my siblings have been like, that's a good book. You'll hate it. Don't read it. Or like, hey, you wouldn't think to pick up this book, but you'd really love it. And it's really great having especially sisters like that can help in my ever ongoing reading journey, because our goal is to read a lot of books this year. We read a lot of books last year. This is like side tangent for no real reason. We love Goodreads in this household. I will link Goodreads and like a lot of things, especially in my blogs. If you go to any of my blogs, I link every single book that I mention and I link their Goodreads. I go off Goodread ratings for books that I pick up. But one of my favorite features about Goodreads is the reading goals for each year. And I love being able to see each year and all the progress that I've made. But one of my personal stipulations is I don't count rereads, because you can track rereads in Goodreads, and I don't do that because I think that's a lot of work, but I only track new reads. So my reading goals for each year is for new reads, not rereads, because if I included rereads, my number would be like triple what it is saying that it is, because I do so many rereads. Yeah, I probably do about 2 rereads for every new read, approximately. It might be closer to 1-to-1, but I would bet it's a ratio of like 2 new reads to 3 rereads. If you are about ratios. Anyways, read Eva Ibbotson, whatever you pick up. If you've read her before, let me know your thoughts down below. If you haven't read her, put your thoughts down below. If because of this you've never read her, put your thoughts down below. If you have suggestions of books you would like me to read, if you have suggestions of books you would like me to talk about, if you've read any of my blogs that don't have a video and you would like me to talk about that blog, also leave that down below. Like, comment, subscribe. All those things are really great and really helpful and super duper appreciated, because I read every single comment. I notice every single subscription. It all genuinely means the world to me, because I love doing this. I love reading books. I love talking about books, and I love having an outlet to do so. And even if just a singular person gets anything from these videos, it really means the world to me. So please comment. That would really mean a lot. And with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great night, a great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all the greats, because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. Bye.